Your microphone is always working,
But
D.
the time that I don't check,
It'll not work.
it will not work.
Oh, Lord.
Y'all know I stay ready so I don't have to get ready.
Oh, my goodness. All right. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hey.
We are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
And wisdom. That's the reason why I blow into my mic.
That ain't got nothing to do with
I have
it.
wisdom.
No, you just nervous about something that does not go wrong. Okay. Here's the question of the day coming up on the show today. Could my children be affected by growing up exposed to my unhealthy, toxic marriage? The D has immediately thrown out her answer to the question. This comes up a lot, actually. And I am seeing more and more people who have developed an aversion to marriage as adults. And so I see a lot of kids who grow up in these homes, but I have noticed more and more adults who have not gotten over what they were exposed to as kids. Now, D, you are a person who believes in divorce. Hold on.
I believe in marriage too.
The D believes in marriage. Okay, D, you believe in marriage, but you also believe in divorce.
Yes, sir.
Is it, and I don't want us to get deep into this yet.
Because you know we will.
Right. But I was wondering if part of the reason that you have divorced in the past was to spare your children from being exposed to mess.
Yes.
Right. So we're going to talk about all that. All right, D, what is your check-in?
Okay, everybody. First, I want to say hi because JP and I made it in from Janet Jackson.
We did.
We were right by each other, but didn't even see one another. That's because I was in 104 and you was in 105.
Well, I was on the floor, but we had to take 105.
Oh, you were on the floor?
I was on the floor, but we had to take 105 to get down to the floor.
Oh.
So we still walked right
didn't
by
have big
you.
money for the flow. I'm too short. Unless I'm on the first or the second, maybe third row.
Something I noticed about being on the floor. On the way to the floor, as I looked at some of the people's seats elevated where they were, it actually was a better vantage
seat.
point.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, but I always get floor seats. I'm usually
What row were you
able
in?
to get them. That's the thing. I bought pre-sale tickets, pre-sale, and still ended up on like the 21st row.
I wasn't about those.
Pre-sale.
I wouldn't have been able to see nothing. Even standing up, I would have been like, my old butt would have been trying to get up in the chair. Like, whoa, hold up in the chair.
D, let me tell you. So what did you think about Ludacris? I like
Loved
Luda.
him.
Do you like
I always
Luda?
have. Yeah, I love him.
Okay. Like Luda.
Both.
Luda did a great job.
He did.
And you know, did you see Luda's new movie? It's not new. His movie, it was last year. He did a movie with Queen Latifah last year.
What was it?
That is really good.
When
It's
they
like
were
an action
driving
movie.
over the country, he was her little sister. That was a good movie.
Well, he was her little
brother.
Little brother. So
yeah.
you saw it. So you know, Luda's acting skills are pretty good because you know he does Fast and Furious, but I lost track of Fast and Furious movies ages
After
ago.
5?
I
We're
think
probably at 10 now.
I think I only saw 1 or 2 of those.
Really?
Yeah. How many have you seen?
Quite a bit.
D.
I don't hear nothing now.
Mr. Walker, we gonna turn your mic off because I heard that in my headset, D.
Okay, it must just be my headset.
We need to figure out what diagnosis is at play right now. Okay, because this is Cognitions. D. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Is this anxiety that you exhibiting right now? We got to break this down diagnostically because you are totally distracted, which the distraction, that's your ADHD. But you are fixated on this microphone today.
No, I couldn't hear. It just went blank. So I was like, okay.
I don't know. This is either ruminating or perseverating.
It's nobonating.
We're gonna have to diagnose this situation, D. Are you okay with this microphone at this point?
Yeah, it wasn't the microphone
you are so
because
distracted.
It just went blank, and that's why I blew.
And it didn't come back on.
Now it did, but I feel it's not the microphone.
What is
it's
it?
my ear thingies.
Oh, it's your okay, because I hear you perfectly
Yes,
clear.
so I must have a short in my.
And you getting anxious about it. D, everything is going just fine.
Everything's going okay. Okay.
Do we need Xanax in this studio right now? Okay. Because it is addictive. People, please do not immediately resort to Xanax. No. Okay, I'm just messing with the D.
But so anyway, you guys, I really think that Janet should have called me though.
Oh, Janet should have called you. I felt like Janet
really
should have called me too. But Janet, I always think Janet should call me.
Yeah, you always think. I think Janet should have called me so I could have helped her do her songs in a better order.
You didn't like the ordering of the songs?
Hell no. Nah. And then she didn't sing anytime. How you don't sing anytime? Anytime.
I think she did sing that.
She didn't sing the whole
just
song.
Just for a few seconds.
That's what I'm telling you. She should have called Janet. If you need the D to help you, 913-219. You can find me on the internet.
I thought the order. Let me explain the ordering of the songs.
I didn't like it.
The songs towards the beginning of the show were songs that were on albums, but she didn't release them and do videos for them, and so it was songs that people would only know
if they were a real Janet Jackson.
There you go. And there was some remixes. The first song she sang was a remix to Together Again, which was the name of the whole show. So she started the show with a remix of Together Again, and then she ended it with the regular version. It all made sense, D. You don't know what Janet's doing.
No, I don't. And then, but I do want to say,
for Janet to be my baby song.
For Janet to be 58, she got down.
Oh yeah.
Oh baby, and I was, I was up
50
there
years of me. I like that. That's what it said.
It did. I did like that. And it was some little young girls behind me telling me, Beyonce. I'm like, I turned around because y'all know the D.
Yes,
y'all know the D.
And you
I was like, let
somebody.
me tell y'all something. Beyonce came from Janet. Her daddy knew about Janet and was trying to make her be Janet. That's why he had her running and dancing in heels.
Right. She came
because Janet
way
was dancing.
Before Beyonce.
Janet was dancing in heels.
Yeah.
At 58 years old, Beyonce's only, 39, 40, maybe 42.
And I've seen shows where she danced in stilettos.
And
now,
I want to say,
she ain't pulling out the big stilettos at this point, but she danced in heels.
But she was in heels.
Even Beyonce acknowledges Janet. They didn't know what was up. But I was surprised to see the number of young people at that show.
It was quite a bit.
I was trying to figure out where these young people, because they was too young for even Ludacris. I was like, where these young people come from?
Trying to find him an old man.
And there was a lot.
Because I had this one old man.
Oh, it's some real old people there too, like 70s and 80s also. Which I was like, y'all gonna get hurt up in here.
I'm trying to give me some nachos because let me tell you something. The D love nachos. So I'm in the line trying to get some nachos. And this old dude just gonna come up and rub up against me and then stand there like, what am I supposed to say?
Oh, this might have been okay. How old? Because you probably should be going out with him. How old?
No, because he had no oomph about himself. How you just gonna roll up and come? You an old man. You supposed to like, hey, how you doing, babe?
Okay, but what? He rubbed. What did he do exactly? He rubbed, and then he gave you that look,
and gave me the look, and then stood there like I'm supposed to say something.
Did he smile?
No, you need to come up to me like a man.
That's so what all he did was rub up against
and then stood there and looked. Then I looked at him.
But if he was old, that could have been an accident.
No, because he stopped and looked at me, and he was like, "Okay, like I'm supposed to say something." No, he's like, come on, man. He was with his partner. Bye.
Oh, he got mad that you didn't say. You was supposed to throw a line at him.
He didn't want no lines I was about to throw.
He felt like he had made the initial communication, albeit non-verbally, which is stupid.
And he was every bit about 60, late 50s,
Old enough
early
to know
60s.
better.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Old enough to know better.
Yeah. It was really interesting. Surprisingly young people and surprisingly old people, like real old.
It was.
And I wasn't surprised by the real old black folks.
Exactly, because they Jackson fans.
They don't care, right? I was surprised by the real old people from other race and ethnic groups. I was like, wow, this is...
And they was knowing every song.
And was up on their feet.
This concert,
partying.
I'm so glad that I had on slides because I was up almost the whole time for Janet Jackson on my feet. Because if I had sat down, I wouldn't have been able to see anything.
Yeah, people was on their feet. It was a really good show. My only complaint is there was a couple of songs that I wanted to hear that didn't make the cut.
I just told you she should have called me and I could have helped her with her lineup.
She didn't do Damn Baby, which is the song that she did with Missy Elliott, and my Sashi loves
I like that song too.
And I was like, what? Oh, Janet. And she did a series of songs that are kind of sensual, but she left out some that, well, I guess they're kind of R-rated, and that's why. She a mama now. She didn't want to get
the way she was gyrating and moving in the hat.
But these are the songs that in previous shows
she went down and touched the boys thing.
She's done a lot more in shows.
Oh, I know. I like
these are the shows that she used to strap an audience member down and climb on him, and I guess she's like, I'm too old to just be. I can't just be getting my full freak on.
But she got a little freak on.
She did get a little bit of freak on. Just say, look, I still can get a little bit of freak on.
And she is so slender now.
Yeah, she looked great. It was like, it was a good show. It was a good show.
She still should have done any time. The whole song, not a snippet.
I know I heard at least a snippet of that song.
2.2 seconds.
The D was, you know what? She really, any song that was a number one song, she should have did the whole song.
Period. She had enough time.
Yeah.
We didn't have to be out there at 12 o'clock.
That show started right on time.
At the Sprint Center, they do that because at 12 they close
Madonna
down.
I didn't go see Madonna. Nadine did. Madonna was like 2 hours late. And when I read the news articles, she did that throughout her whole tour.
She was too high. Just like Erykah Badu.
High? Madonna?
High. Hell yeah, she high too.
I didn't know Madonna gets high.
Me neither, but I'm just sending it out there.
I can't believe my wife waited 2 hours for this woman to get on the stage.
Because she's paid $120 for her ticket.
She had to pay more than that
Probably
for Madonna. But you need to be going and getting your money back. Like, if an entertainer takes 2 hours to get on stage, you should be able to get your money back for that. That's crazy.
But I doubt if they'll give it back to you.
There should be a policy. If the dang-gum show is 2 hours late, there should be, really, if a show is an hour late, they should be offering people their money back.
Everybody know how I am about time.
I was on time, though. I didn't let Nadine make us late to that show.
Really?
I wasn't playing with this woman.
Nadine, go ahead and put something in the comments. Go ahead and put something in the comments, my girl.
This woman better be working. Let me tell you, the show is supposed to start at 7:45. I got out of therapy at 7, I think 7:10, 7:15.
You was already dressed?
Nope. But I had ironed everything. I told her, I said, listen, woman, because she was fussing. You gonna make it late. I said, first thing, Janet doesn't even get on stage till 8:30. So she goes off. I want to see Ludacris.
Exactly.
I said, oh, well, you probably should have said that. But we still gonna be on time for that. And we were. We walked in and he started.
Oh,
It was good. It was good. So yes, loved. We trying to find another show to go to because typically,
All right, one of the guests watching this said, "Girl, you know he's lying."
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
that bet not have been my wife.
I think it was.
Listen, she usually goes to like Omaha after Kansas City, and so I was thinking we could pick up another show in Omaha, and she skipped Omaha.
And went where?
The next show
'Cause she
is
just left
tonight
Atlanta.
in Tennessee, I believe.
Oh wow, that would
But
be
we're going
real
to Tennessee
good
next week.
for Mother's Day.
Yeah, well, for a graduation. And so it's like we can't go to Tennessee and then come back and then go back to Tennessee. So like,
Oh, y'all just might as well stay down there for a whole week.
well, we just spent a week in Seattle. D, I'm self-employed. When
You
self-employed,
do everything on telehealth anyway.
legally, let me state this in case she gets my license revoked. Legally,
Sorry.
we can only do therapy in states that we are
License
licensed.
in. Well, I think you need to go get your license in Tennessee.
I need a Tennessee license. Yeah. In fact, I'm going to get a Tennessee license and I'm going to get a license for Washington because the cost of living in Seattle, the houses there are literally 10 times more expensive than they are here.
Yes. That's why they say if
little-
you can't make it in the Midwest, you can't make it nowhere.
You can't make it anywhere. There was a tiny, cute, one of Nadine's friends has a tiny, it's adorable. It's like a little, it's a cute little house, right? That little house, 2 bedrooms. Like you can stand at the front door and see this whole house, okay? $750,000.
That was double what I said.
This house was the size of our family room and kitchen. Their house, because I researched it to look, and they literally, everybody here in Kansas City, whatever you paid for your house, multiply it times 10. Wow. And that's what your house would cost in Washington because all of that, their economy blew up with Microsoft and Amazon, and all of those are based out of there. I really don't, to be totally honest, I don't understand why people live there. I could see because the cost of living is also high in California, but California has incredible weather. I don't understand paying millions of dollars to.
That's how New York, that East Coast is very expensive also.
And the weather's
that whole coastline
bad
and the
there,
weather
too.
is terrible.
I'm telling you, I was like, this is a lot of money to not have sun and just it better be as beautiful as Hawaii for that much money. Right. Okay, so D, what else is your check-in besides Janet? Because last week we talked about love. We talked about love. D, how's the love?
I want to give my first shout out to my baby boy, Travis. Today's his birthday. He's 36. Woo woo. Somebody's getting old.
36. Yeah, somebody's getting old.
Somebody's getting old. But it
I
ain't
ain't
the
gonna
D.
say who. Oh, it ain't the D. Oh, okay.
Not the D. Okay, and I just want to say, like, yeah, okay, so we're going to talk about love. I guess I had a whole lot of listeners feeling sorry for me. I had like 5 dates this week.
That is a lot.
I did not meet my weight goal, you guys.
Apparently, it didn't matter. You had 5 dates after that show last week.
And then I got proposed to in 6 years. I'm getting married.
Why?
And
okay.
I'm moving to Texas.
Oh, so it's a Texas person. Why did this Texas person, and I hope he's watching the show right now, why 6 years? What is it that's magical about 6 except 06 as in 1906 alpha time? He trying to, is this alpha mess he trying to drop on you?
No, it's not. It's not.
Because you AK, that means he need to make you wait 8 years.
8. What happened? But listen. No, it
Why
was me
6?
the one that did the 6 years because I was like, after my granddaughter graduates high school, I'm going to sell my home. Because I'm only staying in the district.
Oh, this
so
is too
she
light
can-
time. it's gonna be time for 2 light.
Right.
Cause
3. They building 3 now.
Oh, how you know you gonna want 3? For those of you who are not from here, the D wants to live a bougie lifestyle in this high-rise building downtown Kansas City.
Yes.
They have
I
2.
deserve that.
They have one is 1 light, the other is 2
2
light.
light,
It's
and
in
they
the Power and
building
Light
3 light.
district. So in 6 years, you're going to 2 light or 3 light or 4
Hell,
light.
they might have 4 light by then, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
And he was like, "No, you're coming to Texas." It's like, we're going to be married and you're coming to Texas. I'm like, okay then. Then we just start talking about something else then.
So interesting that you and him are having this ongoing contact, but that's a whole nother story. So you're the one that said 6 years, but I don't understand because you haven't been wanting to wait 6 years. D, why he got to wait 6 years? You're making him wait 6 years. Why?
Because of my granddaughter.
Okay, so if he lived in Kansas City, y'all would be good to
It'll
go
probably be
right
something
now.
different. If he lived in Kansas City and I wasn't with Hey You or talking with Hey You, I'm sure it'd be something different.
Okay, so
I'm
you're just
pretty
not
sure.
leaving Kansas City for 6 years.
Yeah, I'm not.
And so I'm curious, the two of you, y'all have agreed to wait for each other for 6 years,
No,
or
we
y'all
just
have
was-
said,
we was just talking.
or y'all
We was
said,
just
listen,
talking.
if you single and I'm
Basically,
single
that's
in
what it
6
was.
years, you mine,
Yeah, because I
baby.
even had one guy tell me when we turn 65, if we ain't
60 damn
he
5.
said 65.
Oh,
he
hell
said
no.
if we're 65, I'm coming to get you.
It what? With a walker? What's he gonna do
We
at
can't
65?
even. You and I can't even. We have to be 72 and a half before we can even retire with full benefits, boo.
I'm never retiring.
Exactly, because I
I
can
love
always,
therapy. I'm gonna
I
drop
can always
dead
go
in a
write
therapy
bond
session.
somewhere. Talking about bonds.
65. D. I think. I hope neither one of these men are listening,
I'm
even
sure
though I
they
just said
all
I
are
hope they are.
sure all of them
Okay, Texas, I need you to step away from your radio at this point. I think you gonna end up married to somebody else way before either one of them are gonna get their shot.
You think I'm gonna be married before 6 years?
D, you are
to be married.
you just want to be married.
No, it's not that I want to be married. I
What?
deserve to be married.
You
I
done
deserve to
almost
have my
married
happy
three
my
fools
happily
since
ever
your last
after.
divorce.
I deserve to be a happy ever after, and I'm a good wife.
Mr. Walker, Professor. has the-
Professor's not married,
has
so
the
we
D-
can't ask him anything.
The professor's not married.
So-
Okay,
so he
Professor,
has
go back to whatever you doing.
He has nothing in this fight, okay? He has nothing to say in this fight.
Hold on.
One that acknowledged that your situations have changed and was feeling sorry.
He was feeling sorry
Ain't
for
nobody
him.
hear the professor.
I'm the one that acknowledged your situation and was feeling sorry for you and was praying for you.
Thank
then
you.
you just tell me
And she
what-
ended up with
yeah,
5 dates because
yeah.
you
5
prayed
dates.
too
You-
much,
you
Professor,
prayed to
because
5
5
dates.
dates is a lot.
And I gained weight.
You prayed a little too much. Professor, have you ever been married?
Yeah.
Okay, then he can speak on this. Have y'all noticed that the D has been dang near ready to marry 3 fools since her last divorce? Have y'all?
More than that, how long? I only been knowing what, a year?
Oh no, we over 2 years.
I've been knowing you
Yeah.
2 years. 2 years.
Yes, she has gotten married, divorced, and dang near married 2-3 times since you
times.
met
Every
her.
time we have a new show, there's
These men, listen, fellas, y'all not gonna be married to the D. What's gonna happen is you gonna hear about the D getting married to someone else. D. I can't even see you being single for another 6 years.
Really?
Really. Now, between these two, you got 65 and you got Texas. These are y'all's names now. Okay.
65 in Texas.
We got 65 in Texas. Which one? I already know the answer to this. Which one do you really want, D?
I'm not gonna answer that question.
Can I answer it?
You can answer it.
Are you sure?
You can answer
Listen, Texas, you at the top of the list. In
it. You just
fact,
made him feel real good.
in fact, Texas, I think that these other men, if Texas would have had good sense, you would have chose Texas over the last 2 or 3 guys you've dated.
I would have been living in Texas already, just working remotely.
You'd already be in Texas. Your grandbaby all up in Texas.
I just would have
in the
kept the
heat.
house.
Okay. Well, then y'all don't need to wait 6
We
years.
really don't. But I have to keep my foot on my daughter and make, because I'm not going to pay a house note and I'm not living there. I'm not going to do that.
Your daughter got a job. Have her pay the house
She
note.
works for Aspire Home Healthcare now.
Is that her only job?
Mm-hmm.
Do you pay her enough to pay that house note? Then y'all don't need to wait 6 years. It's time to start packing.
It's time to start packing. Listen at you.
Yo, Texas.
Okay.
Yo, Texas.
JP is just on this because he swear that he is the #1 matchmaker, okay? So
Yes.
that's the reason why he is so for Texas, everyone.
Texas, do not settle for this 6-year plan that the D presented to you. This plan can be bumped up. All right.
Next.
Here's my check-in. I believe that we can have a communicative relationship with God. Here's the thing. A lot of times I hear people say, and clients too, they say the Lord doesn't speak to me. The Lord doesn't speak to me. I beg to differ. I think that God, the Lord, even our deceased family members communicate with
Most
us.
definitely.
The problem is people don't recognize it. They don't see it. Here's what I want y'all to think about.
It's deep, JP.
Sometimes, I know, and it has nothing to do with what we was just talking about. I didn't even try to have a good segue into this. Like, let's just roll with it, okay? I think that sometimes the Lord will speak to you through other people also. When someone
does.
says something to you and it's like, oh my goodness, that didn't come from them. Now you can go on and thank them, you know, and kind of make them feel good, like, ooh, they came up with something juicy, but it didn't come from them. It came from the Lord. And so this is what happened. And I'm going to talk about my psychics also, because I know you love to talk about my psychics.
No, not at all.
We gonna but this isn't a psychic story, right? Last night, either the Lord, hallelujah, or my mother or my sister, because sometimes I don't know exactly who the message is coming from. Control your symptoms, D. Control your symptoms. Professor, I need you to exit the studio without looking at her, without talking to her, without doing a dadgum cotton pick thing to her, okay? See, now he made me say cotton picking. We're not even supposed to use terms like that. We're not even supposed to use that kind of verbiage. Okay.
This is true.
Not a sharecropping minute. Okay, I switched it up. Okay.
Yes, you did.
This is what happened. So I was putting my baby to bed. And she was up late. I don't
Like
know why
always.
She was up late. Why was
That's
my
what she
baby
do.
up late?
What time did she go to church? I mean, what time did she make it to school that day?
She was on time. And so at midnight, I go to the gym, right? And so I was telling, because we couldn't get her to go to sleep. And so I said, okay, Sashi Boo, good night. Daddy's getting ready to go. And my baby said to me, Daddy, don't go to the gym tonight.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I'd even said the gym. Okay, but I usually do. And like, she 4, she knows. She like, this fool, he's going to the gym. So my baby says, Daddy, don't go to the gym tonight. And I am paying him, what? I said, Daddy gotta go. Because I'm thinking, girl, I'm all sorts of chubby. I'm going to the gym tonight. And so I said, well, no, Daddy's getting ready to go to the gym. And she says, no, Daddy, don't go to them streets tonight. Because I always tell, because my baby, that's my road dog. And so when we roll
About to
out,
get to the
I always
streets.
say, we about to hit these streets. Girl, it's time to hit these streets, Sashi. Boom.
Oh, that's
She's
what we
like-
used to
I like-
say in the 2000s.
And I be asking her, do you hear, what's that you hear, Sashi? The streets calling our name. Right? And so out of the blue, I hadn't even mentioned the streets. And so she says, no, Daddy, don't go to the streets tonight. And so she grabs me,
Oh,
Mr.
my
Walker's
goodness.
laughing, and throws her arms around me and clings to me
Wow.
to not let me out of the bed to hit them streets. Because I was planning on taking my other car out, to keep the battery from dying. And I was going to go to Westport and check my mail and do this and do that and go to the gym. I was going to do some things last night. I was going to do some things. And because I don't be thinking nothing about, going to the heart of the city and going in the office. I don't care nothing about that. But I knew right then, I said, this ain't coming from my baby.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't meant for me to be in these streets tonight.
And you kept your cotton picking butt home?
I kept my sharecropping butt at home. I told my baby, she wouldn't let go. I said, okay, Daddy's gonna go and I'm gonna go put on my pajamas and then I'm gonna stay home. And she said, okay, Daddy. And then she let me go. And so for a second I thought, maybe if I wait until she go to sleep. I said no, because I already told her that I wasn't gonna hit these streets, and that message,
Keep your word.
it wasn't coming from her.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord didn't want me in them streets. Something bad was gonna happen last night. Something bad.
So that was good. That was good, though.
It was good.
It was good.
And I thought about it because then I thought, well, maybe I should just take the other car, like take my regular car, because it is something wrong with the car that I was going to take. Like it's something wrong with the steering, and I don't really know what the situation is. But I was like, it can make it to Westport, though. It can make it to Missouri and to the gym and then back home. Like, what can happen? But I didn't do it. But this made me think about my psychics. It's time to get to the psychics. Now, I ain't talking about no regular psychics from like around the corner, okay? Because Kansas City ain't got a real psychic in this whole city. These are fake psychics, okay? If you a real psychic and you listening to this show and you just got mad, prove it that you're real. Okay. And so when you watch the psychics that only work with celebrities, one of the things I've noticed is that they will mention something to a celebrity and say, listen, there was an incident where da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da happened. And the celebrity will say, oh my God, I am not spoken publicly about that. How do you even know about that? And it will be a deceased family member saying, this is what I did, or this is what I said, or something like that. So this situation with my baby made me think it's possible it wasn't from the Lord. It could have been my mama speaking through my baby, sending me a message. Okay.
I think that was still from the Lord. If it
Well,
was
it's
your
still
mother.
from the Lord. Yeah. But to those of you who feel like you do not have this is my point. To those of you who feel like you do not have a communicative relationship with the Lord, you do. It's just a matter of being able to identify when the Lord is speaking to you. Don't be sitting and waiting to hear a thunderous voice from the heavens.
Not gonna happen.
Like, ooh, that's what people be waiting on.
Mm-mm. It's from the minuteness things.
Right, and sometimes you just feel it in your heart. But there have been times, because every day, multiple times throughout the day, I will say my prayer, Lord, please guide me throughout my day so that I might touch the lives of others as my own life is touched in return. Now, this is what happens.
Amen.
And amen. Hallelujah.
I
This
do not
is what
like it when he
happens.
does that.
This is what happens. No, this is real, D. I'm so serious. 25 years as a therapist. I'm celebrating my 25th year this year, D.
Ooh.
I don't know how I'm planning. I'm planning some type of
We
celebration.
do gotta do something.
Yeah, I'm planning a celebration. 25 years in, I still on a regular basis will find myself saying something that I've never said before. And it will be so good that I know it didn't come from me.
Exactly.
like I can't even take credit for it. Like I'll say something and then it'll hit me like, wow, that was interesting. Like, where did that, because I'm a person who plans a lot. Like I think through pages for the show. Look, I got
I
a lot.
just found out what the question was today 15 seconds ago.
Because I've been working on what the show was supposed to be about for 2 weeks. That's how much I prepare. And I really analyze myself on a constant basis. And I'm not a really impulsive person. I plan a lot of things. So when something just flies out of my mouth and I didn't even plan it, don't know where it came from, and I've never said it before, I know I don't get credit for that. It came from the Lord. Like the Lord, because I pray for guidance. When you pray for guidance, especially the guidance that I pray for, get me through these sessions because I don't want to jack nobody up, okay?
Exactly.
And you say something that you've never said before and you don't know where it came from and it's really profound. It's like you have to just pause for a moment and say, wow, thank you, Jesus, for sending me that message, because this person needed to hear it, and they might not be a person who has that insight into when the Lord is speaking to them. And for those people, the Lord will speak through other people. This happens all the time in church. You in church and the pastor start
Speaking
preaching on
tongues,
something.
and someone has to interpret the tongues.
Yes. Or sometimes when you in church and the sermon and you're like, oh, I needed to hear that today. It's because,
Is he talking to me?
is he talking to me? Somebody, did you call and tell him
My business.
Right. And so it's because, the Lord has put it on that pastor's heart. This is what you need to speak on. Your congregation needs to hear
This.
And so that's what I want people to be aware of. You can have a communicative relationship with the Lord. You just have to be more open-minded to how those messages come. And when it comes to your deceased loved ones, who I truly, sincerely believe watch over us,
Oh, most definitely.
they are communicating with you sometimes. You're just not aware of it.
That's right.
And so that was my check-in. All right. Let's get to mental health and illness in the news. It's going to be quick. Opening lines. This is mental health and illness in the media, okay? Opening lines that can spark an instant connection. I downloaded this article by Dr. Wendy Patrick. She's an attorney / she has a doctorate in something. I don't know what it is. I thought it was going to be about pickup lines, right? Opening
Try to
lines.
do one at the concert.
Right. That old man who rubbed up against you, he needed to read an article titled Opening Lines That Can Spark an Instant Connection. After I downloaded the article, this ain't got nothing to do with like romance. Because I was never, as a single person, I was never a person who had lines and could all that spitting game. I was never able to do all that.
What'd you do, JP?
I just would like meet somebody and keep it totally real and get to know them and date them, and that was it. That spur of the moment, ooh, we in the club, ooh, I see her, I'm gonna walk up to her and I'm gonna throw out a real catchy line. I was never that person.
That wasn't you.
No.
Think about
If
what
I'm walking up, I'm saying, look, hey, what's up? Like, what's up? Girl, how you doing?
And then when you was in the club with us, then wouldn't nobody come up to you because it was us and you and
Well,
five
'cause I'm kicking it.
women. We was kicking it.
Because I'm into my people. And I've never thought it was a good idea to meet somebody at a club. Because in the past, that didn't work out well for me. And when I say it didn't work out well for me, I'm talking about meeting a woman in the club, showing up at her house. Her baby daddy shows up. He's outside clowning, okay? 8, 9
Did
kids
he
running
mess
around
up
the house.
The Trans Am?
Kids.
He try to kick you in the
My
door.
frat brothers was at that crib within minutes. Okay, because he was there with his crew. I said, "Oh hell, I got to call my frat brothers because it's a bunch
Back up 911.
It was a bunch of heathens outside."
Oh my
But
goodness.
what was more alarming was the 7 to 8 kids running around with snotty nose and Pampers. Like, why ain't the kids dressed? And why ain't they face been wiped? Like, never in a club. Okay, you not gonna meet your wife in a damn club. That's my perspective. Okay, for those of you who are sitting next to somebody and y'all been married 20 years and y'all met in the club, I ain't talking about y'all. Y'all are an exception to the rule. Okay, and so yeah, I wasn't that guy. So I was like, ooh. Somebody has researched pickup lines. Let's see what they got. That ain't what this is about. What this is about, research reveals that a team leaders, these are lines to initiate and form a connection in the workplace.
This should have been last week's mental health and innocence.
Oh, the bully boss. Yeah. Research reveals that a team leader's gratitude enhances the team's
That's
innovation.
true. That's
Express to your employees that they are valuable contributors, and it will enhance your relationship with them, which then increases their productivity. Okay? Personal and professional contacts want to feel validated and valued, as well as appreciated and acknowledged. This is something to enhance things in the workplace. When validating others, effective opening lines should be sincere and authentic. Now, what I like about this article is that it goes beyond just work. It addresses how you can just interact with strangers, not because you're trying to pick them up, just because you're trying to have a positive interaction. Okay. And so it asks, like, have you ever met someone and felt an instant connection?
Yes, I have.
It is the power of first impressions, because some people do not make a good first impression.
We were talking about that the other day.
And other people do. Like, I think you make a good first impression.
Well, thank you.
And I think I make good first impression. Like,
You do.
I'm initially friendly with
as long
people.
as you're not doing too much therapy and kicking the front door down, yes.
Continuing on. So here's one thing: serve dessert first. Many powerful opening lines deliver recognition and respect for what others value the most, which is themselves. This is what the article says. When you're in public, praise a person. Okay, express gratitude. For example, let's say you out shopping. You approach somebody and you're about to make a purchase, okay? Or you're about to ask a question. Don't just get straight to it. Throw your stuff up on the conveyor belt, get them to look like, ring my stuff up, heifer. Don't do that. Don't act like that. Don't come at people like that, okay? What this suggests is that instead, add value to your transaction by beginning with a statement of appreciation, such as, thank you so much for helping me. I appreciate it because I see how busy you are up in here. This long line of people. Like, you deserve a raise. Where your boss? Go, call your manager out here. I'm going to tell him you need a raise. That's basically what I do in restaurants.
Same here. I do too.
And, you know, other examples from the article: bless you for working on a holiday. I hope that your day off is to a great start. Like, just be pleasant. And I do that in restaurants because, one, I used to be a server and don't think I was particularly great at it. I was great at connecting with the customers, but like
Taking the orders.
That really wasn't my thing. I got tips because I was able to connect with my people. Okay, not because I was doing a good job of balancing 6 plates
Where did you work
on
at?
2 on Red Lobster, dropping plates. Lobsters was hitting the floor when I was up in that joint, okay? Because that wasn't my thing. Okay, so express gratitude. Where did our time go? Okay, the expression of gratitude is important when you're approaching someone, okay? And in the workplace, give compliments professionally, acknowledging, you know, when you have dropped a difficult task on a person. D, with you dropping difficult tasks on your employees, acknowledge, like, I know this is a lot. I know that this is, a little difficult, but you can do it. Now, I got faith in you that you can do it. In fact, I wouldn't be dropping this on you if I didn't know you could do it.
Exactly.
That increases the likelihood of them doing a good job. Okay. Personally, you can create rapport through complimenting, being expressive in all circumstances, assuming opening lines are delivered with sincerity, authenticity. Advanced preparation can facilitate instant chemistry and connection. This is for enhancing our interactions with society. Okay, that's that.
Okay.
I'm just encouraging people, please be nice, because I see people
Just
who
be nice.
go to restaurants and treat their servers like crap, and that's not
Nasty.
okay. And then
No,
you
it's
wonder why your food tastes, it got 2 drops of pee in it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Maybe all the people.
All the pee. Question of the day. Could my children be affected? This is actually going to be quick. We can get through this
You
in
think
15
so?
minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
Could my children be affected by growing up exposed to my unhealthy, toxic marriage? Yes, as the D said. In fact, there's a diagnosis for it. When you raise kids exposing them to a toxic relationship, you are creating mental illness in your children.
Yes,
and the diagnosis is child affected by parental relationship distress. The code for it, V61.29.
Can you get that code again, please?
V61.29, in case somebody thought
You
this
just,
came from Google.
You just threw that on your children.
You have given your children a mental health diagnosis. Here's what I want you to think about. And this is from the DSM, okay? The DSM-5 TR, text revision. High levels of conflict, distress, chaos, and etc. can have negative effects upon children. Domestic violence in the forms of
Yes.
physical, verbal, or emotional abuse
Yes.
can definitely have negative effects upon children. When you are a parent, whether or not you leave a relationship should start with, how is this relationship affecting my children? How's it affecting them psychologically? How's it affecting them emotionally? How is it affecting them physically? Because if you are causing increased rates of anxiety, it can begin to affect them physically. Okay. So this is a diagnosis that usually kicks in, or kicks a child rather, into another diagnosis, which is one of the adjustment disorders. We've already covered that. So anybody who doesn't know about the adjustment disorders, visit our Facebook page because we covered that. The reason why I want us to talk about this is because I'm seeing adults, more and more adults, who have an aversion to marriage. Not just an aversion, but a phobia.
Wow.
The name,
That's not me.
clearly, that ain't the D. Gametophobia
Oh,
is
say it
the
again.
name of it. Gametophobia is a phobia of marriage.
That's funny when I got to love. I got to love.
Yes. And so, because I've always seen kids who are experiencing the harmful effects of growing up in a household where the parents just have a toxic relationship. But what I have noticed is that I'm seeing more and more adults coming in who have been engaged for years and years. I'm seeing couples who have been engaged for like 10, 15 years.
They have no intentions on getting married.
Well, when I dig deeper and deeper with them, doing insight-oriented psychotherapy to figure out why the wedding date is never getting set, what their aversion to marriage is, most often it is because they grew up in a household exposed to a toxic, unhealthy, abusive relationship, and they have developed an aversion to marriage, sometimes extensive enough that it's a phobia.
Wow.
And sometimes they don't realize it, or they would never have even gotten engaged. But what happens is they get engaged. They think I'm going to be able to do this. I'm going to be able to follow through with this wedding. But then as they start planning it, their anxiety shoots through the roof and they can't do it. And so they come to therapy to figure out, like, why am I unable to do this? Now, here's what's interesting. Some people, I think, are trying to avoid the toxic marriage and what they experience with their parents. But I see other people who are trying to avoid divorcing because they were hugely affected by the divorce.
Exactly.
And there are some people who are more affected by the divorce than the parents' marriage. But those are usually when parents had a unhappy marriage, but it wasn't abusive or anything like that. But they got divorced. And for those kids, they don't understand how the divorce happened. They're like, my parents, I thought they were happy and they got divorced. And if 50% of marriages end in divorce, and I thought these two fools was happy and they got divorced, why would I marry this fool? And then the fiance is like, dang, for real? You had to go there? But that's the fear, because they're like, 50% of marriages end in divorce. Even people who, when they get divorced, they're like, I still love my spouse. So why is me loving my partner reason for us to get married? And they're afraid. Now, with a couple recently, what I did was they've been living together. And so what I explained to them is the aversion is to the institution of marriage. But if y'all been living together, you're living out a marriage. You just don't have the official legal documentation. So psychologically, what they needed to do is look at it from the perspective of, we're already doing what we would be doing. We've already adjusted, because they did have to iron out wrinkles. Because when you start living with somebody, people, I'm not going to pretend that wrinkles don't need to be ironed out. Because when you take two people who have lived by themselves, they are set in their ways for how they run a household. And so when them two people come together, it's going to be wrinkly. And you're going to have to iron out those wrinkles. But for this couple who had been living together for years, they themselves said, we had to iron our wrinkles, but they're ironed out. Like we like a well-oiled machine. And so for them, what I had to do was actually psychologically remove the weight of marriage and tell themselves, we are already living as a married couple, and in some states we'd be considered common law marriage. Because what was scaring them is the whole married. I'm like, you're living it. And that brought them a lot of comfort, like, oh, so it's not going to be a huge change. Not in your day-to-day. You're going to actually reap the benefits, though, of being married. Because I said, at this point, if one of y'all drop dead, all the family members going to swoop in and take everything.
They sure are.
All this stuff that you both have invested in this household, all of the relatives.
Hell, they'll try even if they are married.
Oh, they going to try it even if you. That's true. I didn't tell them that, though, because they already scared. Yeah. They already have gametophobia. But I told them that you will be able to reap the legal benefits of being married, with the exception of one of the D's. What the hell is that you always be getting, D?
Prenup?
Yes. If there's a prenup in place, you ain't got nothing coming. Okay, don't marry the D, because you're gonna have a prenup, right? But for those couples, it's like, you're gonna get the tax benefits, and the family's not gonna be able to swoop in and take this property that you have financially invested in. But the biggest obstacle for them was the psychological piece. I don't want to end up my parents. And so the other thing that I tell people to remind themselves of is you're not your parents.
This is true.
And even if you had two parents who seemed really happy and then they got divorced, you're not them. Because, yeah, they seemed happy and they parted ways as friends and etc. But something exited that marriage over the course of it, and that's why they got divorced. And you may not be privy to it. But
That's
who's to
right.
say that you are going to end up in the same situation? Just because we are an extension of our parents does not mean that we are them. Now, you do have people who marry someone who is very similar to their parent. And
Every man I have married is just like my father.
Interesting. D. We don't even have enough time
We
to get
sure
into
don't.
that. Okay? 'Cause
Great providers.
that's
Great
a
providers.
whole show. But for people who marry people who are similar to a parent, they sometimes have even more anxiety if their parent has gotten divorced before. And so it's like, oh, this person reminds me so much of my mother who's been married 3 or 4 times. Like, I'm a little nervous.
Like my son married a Stacy.
But here's what I want people to think about. For your son who married a Stacy, the chemistry is still not going to be a duplicate.
It's
Just
not.
because you are very similar to one of your parents and you married somebody who's very similar to the other one, it's about chemistry. And your chemistry and the mixture of your chemicals with your partner's chemicals is not going to be a exact duplication of your parents. Their chemistry ended up being off. Something happened, okay? You don't need to be afraid that that's going to happen to you. And so this is something that happens more and more often. I have friends who are never getting married because they don't want to, okay? Because I have friends who are willing to get married. They just haven't found Mr. or Miss Right. But then I have other friends who have an aversion to it, almost to the extent of it being a phobia. Most times, those are people who are, their parents divorced. They witnessed and experienced a divorce, and it has affected them in this way. So, are your kids okay with getting married? They're cool with it.
Yeah, I only have one that's married.
Ask the other ones why they are
The
not
oldest son, he said he's going to get married when he's 60.
married. Ask them if it's because of you.
My baby girl says it is. Everybody's problems is because of me.
Blame it the Baba.
Blame the mama.
They
Hey,
got it from Freud.
If it don't work, let it go.
They blame
Let's
it from
try
Freud.
another one.
Blaming it on Freud. Okay. That's our show for today. I think we covered that
Yeah, we did really well.
quickly. I knew it was short
You
and
did
brief.
really well, but it really shouldn't have been. We should have really went in depth a little bit more.
Did you got more on this, D?
No, not really. I don't want to disclose. I always get in trouble.
D.
I got in trouble when we
Are
was
your
on.
exes watching the
when we-
show? Your
Yes.
exes ain't watching
I
the
think
show.
they are. I think they are.
D, real quick, tell our listeners that a gentleman has started to refer to you as Stacy D, which means he's been secretively watching the show,
the
and
show.
we talked about him.
Yes.
I hope he
yeah.
ain't watching today
hope
because
he's not.
he just heard that you plan on marrying somebody else in 6 years.
I know, right? and maybe 65. We don't
If
know.
that would fall through, there's the backup plan.
And for 65, that's
Hopefully
in 11
65.
years.
Hold up, 65. If you are listening to the show,
I believe he is.
I apologize for calling you the backup plan.
but
but
he is.
but Texas has been at the top of that list for a while. All right, that's our show for today. Thank you all for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything.
Thank you and God bless.
Bye-bye now. That was a